Hey, all you Clovers, it's Phoebe, and we have some really exciting new features to show you for our 2024.2 release. So let's just dive on in and have some fun while we learn.
We have created a new library window that you can use as a beta version. Accessing it through the current library window at the bottom here, you will be then able to try it out. As you can see, all of the CLO provided assets are available for you along with some additional ones for your use. We have kept all the same great viewing options and have even included a few more. Access to the Connect assets have never been simpler. With a quick switch of a button, you can flip between the CLO and Connect assets at ease. The connection to CLO set is even faster and easier to work with than ever before. With direct access to your company's rooms, workrooms, and all your favorite garments, you'll be able to use the CLO ecosystem to its fullest. You'll also have the ability to create your own libraries from your own personal folders to easily pull them into CLO at any time. If you ever want to go back to the original library, you can easily do that through the back button. CLO is now offering 2 different color modes to work within. You can work in either a light or dark mode. Access to these options will be found within your user settings under User Interface Appearance. Once you change the mode you want, you will have to restart the software, and then you can work seamlessly within that color mode. Now you will have more control over your sewing lines when saving modular blocks. Within the user settings under Other, Modular Library, when checking on notch sewing, the modular block will have the sewing lines follow your notches instead of the pattern segments, making gathering or pleated garments easier to sew and save and view within your modular blocks. To account for all workflows, we have created an optional safeguard within Modular. Within your user settings under Other, Modular Library, you can check on Prevent Mix and Match. This will give users guidance that when switching to a different style's block, this may not fit properly with the style you currently have in the 3D window. Users can listen to this and select OK, or if you want to still add the block, you can simply override the guidance and hit Override. Now that I have a garment set up, I can start to clean it up, which is where this great update of Convert to Point will be helpful. With a right click and selecting Convert to Curve or Segment Point, I can then select either Convert Point Only, which will only convert this one point, or Maintain Curve, making sure that the curved line stays intact, and most likely creating multiple curve points to do it. Having symmetry is so helpful, but sometimes you only want to have an internal liner shape or even a base liner shape on just one of the pattern pieces, like my tag here. With this update of being able to unlink internal and baselines, you can still keep your patterns symmetrical while only having the information you need on each one. Being able to quickly edit and adjust measurements and lengths in CLO has always been very important, and now you can do it even faster. With the change length update, which allows you to select multiple segments at once and then change all the links together. Editing in CLO is easier and faster than ever. I have this hem here, but I want to update this style and replace it with a puffy hem DXF that I have from another garment. With the Replace Pattern update, replacing patterns is so much easier. You now don't have to worry about having the same amount of segment points. But if you do have the same amount of segment points, this tool will still work really well for you. But if you don't have the same amount of segment points, you can now still replace that pattern. Just tell CLO which points are the anchor points, and CLO will do the rest. And since replacing patterns keeps the sewing, fabric, and internal line information, all you have to do is hit simulate, and then you're done. We know how important Grainline is through the garment creation process. So we have updated our Grainline with more industry standard information and also optional safeguards for all of our users. You can input your Grainline degree or direction number here, link or unlink to other colorways, and also decide the orientation if it should be 1, 2, or 4-way. You will also have the option of locking this, which will provide you with safeguards when using other features that involve Grainline. CLO has a great update for grade groups. You can now go to a graded size and add in a new size above. You can either add in a full smaller grade size like here automatically, or you can add in a half size like this automatically. As long as you have grading information already in CLO, CLO will do all the work for you. Here I have an OBJ trim, along with some button trims and everything that I need to grade out. In this new release of CLO, you can easily do this using all the same grading tools for patterns. You can now just easily grade out those OBJ trims using them. Just don't forget to glue the trim to the pattern. We have added in our new pressure fit map into grade review, allowing you to use the strain, stress, and pressure fit maps all within the grade review. So you can see all of your graded sizes side by side and in any layout you want. We have added an extra layer of organization to our POM object browser, or points of measure object browser. Now you can organize your POMs how you want to through our folders. This structure will also be saved out when you export these POMs to CSV files. You can now show or hide your graded sizes within your POM object browser. Using this eye tool, you can hide or show each graded size. When you're ready to go into production, our nesting algorithm has never been faster or more accurate. And now you can choose which colorways you want to link with your nesting settings. You can either choose current, all, or custom. Custom will allow you to choose which colorway you want to follow these nesting properties. And as you can see, our nesting speed has increased, along with some great updates with viewing graded sizes and different options of information within the print layout now. We also have added in an option to group your graded sizes. This will put all of your graded sizes in grouped areas along the marker, while still trying to find the most efficient way to lay them all out. CLO now has given the user the ability to control the breast shape of the avatar through Avatar Editor. There are 3 different shaping adjustment options. Shape. Here you can choose if you want a rounder shape or a more teardrop shape. Space. This will determine if there's space between the breast, should be narrow or wide. Height. This will decide where the breast should sit on the body, if it should be higher or lower. Flattening within CLO has always been very easy and a great way to start a project, especially if you don't have any patterns already. With our improvement, we have made it so that once you have flattened your pattern, you can easily jump into your 2D workspace and start working right away. Instead of needing to organize the space, now that the pattern will follow the grain line, everything is set up properly, allowing you to create your garment in minutes. After flattening and adjusting my pattern a bit, I'm ready to add some construction details, like seam taping, to my pattern here. We have updated our options for extending our seam taping within the property editor. You now have 3 options for extending the seam taping. None, so no extension is necessary. To outline, extended to the outline of the pattern. To seam taping. This will extend to the edge of the following seam taping. These options allow for more realistic seam taping in the digital world, so that your digital twin is closer to its physical even more. Now that my garment is all set, I'm ready to create some fabric for it. I can quickly go into my fabric creator here and start to create some fabric. A great improvement we have made is to our UI for the fabric content. This will make it even easier for you to create the fabric content you need. And I can still use these great CLO presets to create textures and truly realistic looking fabric here. I can continue to adjust my fabric texture using the texture generator here. This will allow me to bring in different fabric textures and create a seamless repeat quickly and easily within CLO. What's really nice is now I can flip through my different maps and make sure that this seamless repeat looks good throughout all of them, so that my fabric looks exactly like I want it to look. We have always been able to recolor fabric within CLO, but as you can see here, using the same color swatch, you can get vastly different results depending on how you recolor the fabric. The first one here, I did a color overlay, simply adding in this green color chip to the fabric swatch. The second one, I desaturated the swatch and then added in the color chip. I can play around with the shadows and brightness to get the effect I want. For our third one, I used our new color switch option, which is the same technique as our color switch option in the multi-texture generator. But here, CLO will pick one color to switch out, making the fabric closer to its original with a complete color switch for one color. As you can see, it will work with any of these colors that I choose. Now I'm ready to move on to my next project, which I have here in my 3D state. What's really nice is I now get a preview of each 3D state while I hover over it, so I now know which one to select easier. To make knitwear look even more realistic, we have made some improvements to our knitwear feature. Here, we have added in the option of yarn variants. This will create imperfections to the knit to make it look even more realistic. We have provided our users with 2 options. Irregularity. This will determine how much the yarn moves. You can control this through scale. This will decide how much you want the yarn to move. Or frequency. This will determine how often the yarn direction changes. Also, we have pilling. This will create pulls within the yarn, and you can control this through length, how long you want the pull to be, thickness, how thick you want the yarn to be, and frequency, how often you want to see the yarn pulled. You can use just one or both, but when you use both, it looks even better. We have updated our property editor window to include some new options for geometry and have moved our render thickness to be within this section. We have also included some new options for how to express this thickness, which will be very helpful when exporting out with everywhere and also within the software. You can decide if the render thickness you are adding should be placed forward, backward, or both. You can also decide which face should be seen or hidden, the front, back, or seam. With side geometry, you can now control how much or how little mesh should be on the side. The more mesh, the more refined this will look. We have made Colorway even more intuitive and dynamic than before. You can use the simple add tool here to quickly add in a colorway, or you can use the more advanced add option. When using the more advanced add options, CLO has now provided reminders on how each option works. The classic way of adjusting colorways is always an ultimate favorite of mine. But we have also improved our drag and dropping options so that you can do even more with less clicks. Now you can simply drag and drop your fabrics, and using Control, you can cycle through the different add options. Assign to all colorways by linking all properties. Assign to current colorway only. Assign to all colorways by unlinking materials. First, I chose the current colorway only, and when dropping in your 3D window, you will only be able to apply it to the pattern piece you are dropping it on. Next, I drag and drop this lining and apply it using Assign to all colorways by unlinking materials. Again, since I applied this in the 3D window, this only affects the pattern that I applied. Now I'm going to drag and drop within the colorway editor. I'm going to use the Assign to current colorway only. Now this will change any pattern piece that's using the fabric because I'm dropping it in the colorway editor instead of the 3D window. My final add will be to use the Assign to all colorways and link all properties. I'm going to apply this to my tag pattern here in my 3D window, and this will make it so that all colorways have the same color throughout. You can also use this drag and drop technique with graphics as well. What's also really nice is if you use the wrong add option, you can always right-click and change it back. You can also now very quickly hide a graphic in all other colorways through the right-click Hide Other Graphics. Now in CLO, you can control your avatar's mesh size. Turning the mesh on, you'll be able to see more clearly these differences. Through Divide Mesh within the property editor, you can make your avatar even smaller, which will help with any collision issues like the one I'm seeing on the legs here. You can go all the way up to 3 and as low as 1. And don't forget, you can always turn it off. CLO is faster than ever with the update to our GPU simulation. You can find it within the simulation tool. Simply click and hold down and switch to GPU, and your spacebar can do the rest. As you can see, simulating in GPU, everything goes much faster, and the movements are like butter on the screen. I can also easily push back these trims and not worry about collision getting in the way. Even on these multi-layered garments, GPU is extremely stable and faster than ever. While still in GPU simulation, I can keep editing and adjusting my garment to get the styling just right. Here I'm going to adjust my straps using the pins tool. While easily selecting an area within the 3D window, I can turn on simulation and move and adjust my strap in real time. What's even better is all this adjustment I'm doing here, I can automatically apply to the symmetrical copy through right-click. I can keep adjusting and making these changes until I'm happy. You can easily register the pose or motion from an FBX file to a file compatible for CLO avatars, making creating poses easier than ever and applying them to your CLO avatars easy too. To make rendering even faster and a little less work on your computer, we have added in another section to our render settings: Mesh Optimization. This will only be seen in the final render, so when you hit that play button. The two new options are frustum culling, so no mesh is created outside of the camera view or a camera window, and LOD, or level of detail. The number of meshes will be reduced based off of their distance from the camera. So if it's a far away distance, we'll have less meshes for the computer to render out. This is really helpful for knitwear rendering, and we do suggest you to use it when rendering with our knitwear tool. We have now included a panoramic export option for colorway. Now this will be available when your viewpoint is in current view. If your viewpoint is in custom view, then the custom view option for panoramic will appear. But once you're all ready, you can then start your render and receive these amazing images.
Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you're just as excited as I was showing you these. If you have any questions or if you want to learn more, check out the YouTube channel. There's so many great videos for you to learn everything you could ever want about CLO. And thanks so much again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.